Previously on Mountain Men. In Alaska, Marty's record season goes into meltdown.
This warm weather is just destroying everything. Man, the river's wide open. Nature does what it does, and you just have to adapt.
And while winter surges in the east,
Go ahead.
Eustace races to the finish.
Good girl.
We got to get these logs up to the drop-off point.
Go ahead.
If we want to get paid for doing all this work we've been doing all winter, we have to just keep on pulling as many logs as we can.
400 miles south of the Arctic Circle, the warm front that threw the Revelation Mountains into an early meltdown has moved on, and winter has come roaring back. But it's 1 week too late for Marty Meierotto, who gambled on nature and lost.
Boy, what a difference a day makes. Yesterday, this was all dirt, and boom, it started snowing during the night. And now I probably got, I don't know, 2-3 inches.
5 days ago, Marty made the decision to close his trap line for good.
I got the line all snapped. Maybe I snapped it too early, and it's a bummer that it switched like this.
And now, despite the new snowfall, it's too late to reopen the line, making a bitter end to a strong season.
It's too risky to set the line again. The Chinook could blow in and melt all the snow. It's over. I'm done. It looks like today's a good day to get out, so I need to get out of here while I still can.
Marty's friend Taj returns to fly Dominique and Noah back home.
Hey, Taj!
Howdy.
How was it?
Good, cool.
All right, Taj, we'll get loaded up, and then I gotta go board up the cabin and stuff, and I'll be behind you, I think.
Sounds good.
All right, girls, we'll see you in a few hours, hopefully.
Okay, fly safe.
Will do. See you, baby.
Okay.
All right.
See you down, Marty.
All right, sounds good, Taj. Once the girls take off, then I have to run back to the cabin and do the finishing boarding up and, you know, bear-proof in the cabin before I leave. All right, I got the snow machine stored inside. I got the stove shut down, everything put away. I'm just putting these bear shutters on so the bears don't come in and bust my windows. The bear shutters for the cabin here are just slab wood from cutting on the mill. There's a framework that I spike into the wall. You slide them in, slide them out. That way it's easy to put in, put out. And, you know, of course, the bear doesn't know to slide anything, so he's not going to try that. So the idea being that if a bear comes along, which he will, he'll just walk by the cabin and just assume that's all solid log. If he wants to get in, you know, they'll get in. But the idea is to not give them a reason to tear through your cabin. The idea is to make it not worth his while. A bear doesn't do stuff for nothing. So if you don't give him a reason to tear into your cabin, he probably won't go in. Bear shutters and nailing the door shut and stuff is just kind of a little deterrent. It doesn't guarantee they're not going in, but it's something. All right, I better get out of here.
Daylight lasts 6 hours this time of year, so Marty has to keep a tight schedule in order to make the 4-hour trip back to Two Rivers.
It's a long flight out here, and you never know what kind of weather you're going to run into. So you want to have enough daylight to get back and hopefully a little extra to deal with any problems that might pop up. And I don't want to get too late of a start. Weather looks good. There's some wind around, a headwind. It's not too bad. I sure hope the winds and weather up in Hellhole Pass aren't too bad. All in all, it looks like a pretty decent day. But that's here. I've got a long ways to go.
Across the country, in the Blue Ridge Mountains, Eustace Conway and his business partner Preston Roberts are in the home stretch of their winter-long logging job, and they're finally making steady progress.
It's been about.
The only thing left to do is transport their 24 tons of timber back home.
The main thing we're trying to get done today is to get all these logs in a logging truck and get them to the mill. And if we want to get paid for doing all this work we've been doing all winter, we got to get them to Turtle Island.
Eustace called in a favor from an old friend who will load and truck the logs over 40 miles to the sawmill.
Yeah! Right on, he made it.
He did, didn't he?
I'm really glad Dean made it this far back in the woods. I mean, this is way back. Hey, Dean.
Hey, Eustace, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. You made it. Congratulations.
Yeah, I made it. Hey, Preston.
Good to see you, bud.
Good to see y'all. But y'all way back in here.
Uh-huh.
What's your game plan? I don't see no loader here to load these logs.
We don't have a loader. We're just gonna load them with our hands, Dean. We're gonna make some poles and put them on the side of the bank and on the side of the truck bed. And if we can, just roll it right out there and let them drop right in there.
Sound like a plan.
Let's try it. We're gonna guide Dean in. We're gonna actually put him off in the ditch so his tires will be close to this bank. What we're really hoping is we can get it lined up just right. We'll be able to roll these logs right down the ramps and boom, right down in the truck.
Eustace plans to use the high ground to his advantage. Two 12-foot poplar logs will serve as a ramp to bridge the gap between the hill and the truck.
These things aren't perfectly even, but yeah, it's good enough to try it.
This looks like a big old death trap.
Yeah, it sort of is. There's a lot of risk out here. These logs are somewhere between 300 and 500 pounds apiece. If you don't get the logs in the right place to the ramp, it'll fall off in the hole and you'll have to go digging it out of there. So it's a challenge. 1, 2, 3.
This could happen fast.
Yeah, it sure could. Don't get under it, boys.
Basically, you got to be paying attention all the time.
I believe you're gonna get by it.
Okay.
Looks good on this side.
I wonder if you're gonna be okay, Eustace.
I think I will. It's close, but it'll make it.
Yeah, mine's clear.
Oh, Preston! Oh, man! That stuff is dangerous. That's just slicker and slicker. I mean, these logs, they're big, they're heavy, and they can fall off of whatever you're balancing them on, and it's a big drop off, so we're concerned, but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure out some way to make it work.
In Montana's cattle country, the end of winter is the rancher's most important time of year, and Rich Lewis is back on patrol to make sure it goes off without a hitch. Because calving season isn't just a boon for ranchers, it's also a feeding frenzy for predators looking for an easy meal after a long, hungry winter.
It's my obligation to make sure that these cows and calves are all safe, so no matter what happens, I'm not gonna lose anything on my shift. Ooh. We got a newborn calf out there. That's a young one.
Wolves can smell a newborn calf from a mile away, and with Montana's exploding wolf population, the herd faces a greater danger than ever before.
Usually when I'm called out by a rancher, the first things that I'll do is get a good look at all the cows and see which one's gonna be the most vulnerable for a predator to attack. There isn't an ear tag in its ear yet, so it's not too old. Gonna have to keep an eye on that cow. It's a real expense for the ranchers to lose one calf. A calf is worth $1,500 to $1,800 by fall. I got a lot of work to do. I gotta get going. There's so many cattle out here. I mean, you're always on the move. You can't sit still. You've got to keep checking and looking and seeing what's going on. The perimeter that I'm patrolling is the first line of defense against the predators. Ho. Ho, Rusty. Ho. Well, I got a cow here about ready to give birth. Her feet are sticking out, so I'm gonna go over there and watch her and make sure everything's all right. She's getting up and down, she's restless, but she's real close to having a calf. The feet are already out. Next thing, the nose will be coming out. She's just starting to strain now. It shouldn't be too long. You gotta be real quiet and careful and move real slow when they're giving birth to make sure everything's gonna be all right. His head is just right there. This is the most crucial moment right now. Here it comes, here it comes. The head's out. It doesn't look like it's moving. You just don't know what goes through your mind. You know, you're trying to think a million different situations there, what to do or what can happen. Ooh. The biggest thing with a newborn calf, the survival, is getting that first milk. Easy. I hope I don't come into a dead calf because it'd be a disaster for the rancher. Easy.
In Montana's cattle country, a new addition has arrived.
I knew something was wrong when that calf wasn't moving, so I had to act fast. Easy, easy. That first milk is the most important thing to that calf, to get its energy built up so it can stand up and be able to run. Easy. Because predators, they're gonna prey on that poor calf if it's weak, and that's gonna be a lot easier prey for them. Ooh. Come on, buddy. There we go. It didn't look like it was breathing, it wasn't moving, so that's the reason I went in there to check and see and just bring it to life. You know, when she touched her nose like that, it tickles it and they kind of cough and hiss, and that kind of got him going. I think he'll be fine. He's gonna be sucking here before long. You can't afford to lose one calf. The rancher is dependent on you to get the job done, and that's what you have to do. No problem on this calf. I gotta go check the rest of them.
The herd is most vulnerable at nighttime, so Rich surveys the perimeter for weaknesses before darkness falls.
I like to check all the boundaries, the fence lines, to see where the predators might come down and try to attack a cow. That'll do, that'll do. You have to think like a wolf or a coyote, because they're gonna sneak down through a certain area because they don't want to be seen either. Hey. Whoa. What the hell? That's definitely wolves. Boy, they clean up. I mean, wolves, they don't leave anything hardly left. I'm surprised there's this much left. They'll probably be back to chew on this. Gonna have to light a couple fires tonight. That'll help keep the predators out of here. This is a bad deal. Well, I think if I get one more right over here, because this is the area kind of where they're gonna funnel down into. After finding that dead heifer, I'm gonna get some brush piles up, light some fires tonight. That should help keep the predators out of this area where I'm gonna have the cattle. That ought to do it. Once it gets dark, it's easier for the predators to move around, so I want to try to get those calves, everything rounded up. Come on, yep. Sniper's a cow dog. I send him out and get the cows moving, and then I can be in one direction, he's in another, and we work as a team. Once they're all bunched up, it's a lot easier to keep an eye on everything like that. I just got to keep track of them. It's going to be a long night.
In North Carolina, the first log run down an improvised loading ramp didn't go as planned.
That first log, when we rolled it off in there, we had left one of the ramps sticking out a little bit long, and when it went off of there, it kind of worked like a seesaw, and it flipped that log up in the air and right straight towards Eustace.
Okay, now roll him over. It's kind of dangerous to have that ramp flapping around by my head. We have to be careful with that. One more inch, right there.
To stabilize the ramp, Eustace cuts off the overhang on the runners and then notches the wood to grip the lip of the truck bed.
Oh yeah, that's a nice loader. We're really hoping that this adjustment's gonna work good for us.
All we gotta do is go in there and try it out, see how it goes. So we'll just roll another log on, see if we can't do better.
Okay, just hold him there a minute. All right, send him off through there. Didn't even pop up a bit.
That's a ticket, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a lot better. When we fixed that ramp, it started working a lot better. That thing wasn't flopping around, so I believe we got her.
Second log went real well, piece of cake. We just got to keep going and get them all moved in there.
Yeah, that'll work.
We're really starting to get this figured out. We're getting into a little bit of a rhythm. There's a pretty big learning curve, but we're going to get a lot better.
"1,500 feet up, above the Alaskan bush. A warm weather front pushing north from the coast has Marty fighting to stay on schedule.
Well, I'm bucking a really big headwind here. It's got me going so slow.
Blowing in at 40 miles per hour, the headwind conditions are dragging down Marty's flight speed.
A headwind is a wind on the nose of your airplane. It just means that you're going to be in the air longer because you're not going as fast. A big headwind right now is a problem because I'm up against a light issue. It's going to be dark soon, and I can't land in the dark unless I have landing lights, of which I don't have. And looking at the time, well, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to make it.
He's only halfway home. And with 200 miles to go, Marty doesn't have enough daylight left to finish the trip.
Yeah, I gotta find a place to land, and soon. Picking out a landing spot isn't as easy as you think, because it's got to be a flat spot, but it also got to have enough distance to land. On skis, there's no brakes. And of course, there's nothing around, it's just wilderness, so I have to come up with options and do that before it gets too dark, because if it gets too dark, I'm not going to find any place to land at all.
In the high peaks of the Blue Ridge Mountains, heavy rains move through quickly, bringing flash floods and mudslides that make roads impassable. An oncoming storm is the latest threat to the progress that Eustace and Preston are making, trying to transport their first load of timber from their logging site. The weather now has them locked in a race against time.
I'm a little bit concerned about Dean getting stuck in here. This rain could get him stuck in here for weeks. He's got to be moving as soon as we can get him going. 1, 2, 3.
There we go. You looking good there?
Definitely on our end.
I'm good.
I think that'll work.
Let's send it on. Woo, we're really gonna have to get a run and go on this next one.
Yeah, to bounce up over that, we're
Yeah.
gonna have to kick it hard.
The truck's getting pretty full of logs now, but we'd like to heap it up a little bit on the top there.
The fuller the load, the fewer trips they'll need to haul their take of 120 logs back to the mill.
We're so far back, we've got to get every log in here we can. 1, 2, 3. Oh, man! Jeez, it went right over it.
We're getting the truck fuller and fuller all the time, and we sent this log over. We gave it a good old push. You know, it's gonna be kind of hard to get it over some of the bumps that are in there, but we pushed it a little bit too hard and it hopped off the other side.
Oh my gosh. It went all the way off of there.
At least it didn't go off in the creek.
Yeah, it could have gone way down in there. Well, let's get this fixed up as fast as we can. I know you need to get out of here, Dean. I appreciate your patience. I'm gonna get the mare. We're just gonna hook a grab to it and drag it back up there with the horse, line it up, roll it on again.
I'm glad it didn't go in the creek.
I'm glad it didn't tear his truck up. We've got to get this thing loaded. We've got a storm coming in. We don't have time to be playing around like this. We need to get this back up on there. Good girl.
I guess we gotta make us some standards, don't we?
Yeah, Preston, we're gonna have to raise our standards. I think we'll just cut a few sticks and stick them up so that they'll have a little barricade over there. We don't want it jumping off the truck again.
2 logs wedged vertically will serve as supports to backstop the momentum of the rolling logs.
Once we have these standards in place, we'll just roll the last 2 logs on, and that should be a load. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna run over there and push it the rest of the way.
All right.
Throw me that cant hook. That went real good. Once we got our standards on there, we just made it happen and we're done. We're sending Dean on out of here before that storm comes in and muddies the road.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one we were looking for.
Yes, sir.
That's a load there, brother. You be safe driving this thing out. Well, it feels good to have this done. This is a dream come true. We've been working on this for months, getting all these logs up here, and finally got our first load piled in, and it's gonna feel good to see it going down the road. Yeah, you got a load. You better be careful.
I'll be careful.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
you hauling this. We need you back in about 2 days if you can make it. It's a big step getting these logs out of here. Once we load them on the truck, they're one step closer to making us some money. We feel good about celebrating, but at the same time, let's just get back at it and get some more out. So spring's coming and we don't have much time, and we need to get everything done we can do as fast as we can.
The final weeks of winter in Montana's Yak Valley are a time to reap the rewards of the year's hardest season. That's never been more true for Tom Orr, who has battled setback after setback to stay in the black. But with just 1 day left before he's set to bring his winter work to market, a renewed threat has him on edge.
All the work I did this year is coming down to just one more night. I've got most all my skins finished and all smoked and ready to go. But now, my friend Will called me this morning, said he thought he had a bear issue. So I drove over here to check this out.
Yeah, come on, Tom. This is what I wanted to show you right over here. This morning when I walked out here, I saw a cooler that was all ripped up and scattered around. See this? This stuff was scattered everywhere around here. And all it is some old blood frozen, and that darn bear come in, tore it up. He's definitely looking for something to eat.
A bear out this time of year definitely needs something to eat, but there isn't nothing out there. I mean, there's no green. Will, he only lives 2 miles down the road from me down here, and so that gave me a little bit of caution in case it comes to my place too.
Hibernation typically lasts until late March or April, a full month from now. Bear sign this early in the year is unusual and dangerous, since newly awakened bears are ravenous and aggressive.
The bears aren't due to even be out of hibernation yet, but maybe because of this warm weather that we're having, you know, that's enough to interrupt anything that's normal, you know.
With snow still on the ground, it will be more difficult for a bear to find the vegetation it needs to survive, and it could resort to desperate measures to find food.
Huh?
Yeah, hey, look at this. Here, track, claw mark. Sure, this is a black bear. I mean, you know, this is not a grizz.
Not only did he tear the cooler apart to lick the bottom clean, but he also put his feet up on the teepee. He left tracks up on the teepee. He was apparently bewildered of what that thing was.
And then right over here is a couple of little old puncture holes.
Oh, wow.
I think we've got a problem.
Yeah, I think we do too.
Look what you went through already, and now over here, and you know, who knows what's next.
A black bear already cost Tom thousands of dollars and hundreds of man-hours when it broke into his shop while hunting for meat earlier this winter. With a full season's work on the line, he can't afford another intrusion.
We've got to protect everything we've got. I mean, one bear can do a lot of damage.
I'm gonna re-bear-proof my shop again. I don't want that sucker getting back in my shop, I'll tell you. I'll get through one more night and I'll be all right.
Back in Montana's Yak Valley, Tom and his friend Will race to batten down the hatches on the tanning shed for the second time this season, after discovering signs of bear activity nearby.
Okay, so we want to put this stuff inside, huh?
Yep.
The shed is filled to the rafters with Tom's winter work.
I don't want that sucker getting back in my shop, I'll tell you. I've got a lot at stake. I worked through the whole season trying to catch up. With all the stuff that's in the shed, there's probably $10,000 worth of work that's in there. I mean, this is my livelihood right in that building. I ain't gonna go through that again. Maybe even that old garbage can, you know, there ain't nothing in it, but it still probably got odor, and I know this probably smells like a beaver. Big thing now is just keeping the bear out of there, and I'll be out of that shop here soon, and won't have to worry about the bear breaking in anymore. There won't be nothing in there to break in for you. Here's something here, too. A bunch of bird wings in here.
There you go, I'll get them.
You just stick that inside it.
Good.
You know, even that bird feeder up there,
Yeah.
Be attracted to that bird feeder.
Yep, if that sucker's hungry, he's gonna be looking for anything.
Yeah. We're trying to get everything that would smell anything like blood or meat or food cleaned up here. Let's stick this frame in there, Will.
Okay.
It's really neat to have Will, my good friend, living 2 miles down the road, you know, because we watch each other's back, you know. I mean, I can help him and he comes up and helps me, and you know, what goes around comes around.
Tell you what, when raised up, I can hold it up there if you want to be hammering on it.
Yep.
We want to be sure that his place is secure.
I feel pretty confident with our building and closed up everything. We put out the bear mats on the ground. Welcome home. I'll be checking this bear out tonight, and should the bear come back, he'll have to make a lot of noise to ever get in there, and I'll know about it.
"500 feet above the Alaskan bush, Marty scours the landscape below for a safe place to land before he runs out of daylight. But in an area of dense forest, the only clear straightaways are rivers and streams, and that could leave Marty on thin ice.
I think I see a slough up ahead. Well, I'm going to come in low and see if I can tell if there's any broken ice at all. And hopefully it'll be big enough and straight enough so that I can land.
A slough is a shallow lake that's more likely to have a thick ice pack than a moving river. But with the recent warm spell, there's no telling if it's safe to land.
It's not great. There are holes there, but there's a stretch. There's a stretch of ice that looks okay. I'm kind of committed to this spot now because I don't have time to go look for another one, so hopefully this is gonna work. I'm gonna come in real slow and just drag my skis on the snow so that I can see if the ice is solid enough.
Testing the ice requires an expert maneuver. Marty dips low enough for his skis to glide across the surface without landing. If he flies too low and the ice can't hold the weight of his plane, he'll break through.
That's pretty rough. All right, I can see my ski tracks. I don't see any water coming up through the ski tracks, so that's a good sign. All right, I'm going in land. One for all the marbles.
Whoa.
Kind of squirrely down here close to the ground in the channel. There's some gusts and stuff.
In Alaska, 100 miles from home and nearly out of daylight, Marty makes an all-or-nothing attempt to land his plane on a stretch of lake without knowing if it's thick enough to bear the weight.
All right, good deal. I made her. I'm still on top of the ice and not under it. Whew. Well, I'm glad that's over. Well, that was no fun. I didn't like that. That was pretty squirrely. I'm glad to be on the ground for sure. Yeah, it's a relief to be on the ground and the plane's good and it's sitting on top of the ice. You know, the flying's done and all I have to do now is just set up a quick little fly camp and spend the night. The wind's blowing pretty good on the ground here. And it's pretty cruddy. But I'm on the ground anyways. So I'm just gonna put the plane to bed, wrap it up, try and keep it warm, put on the wing covers in case it snows. And then I'm gonna grab my sleeping bag and find a spot to camp in the woods here. Well, this looks like a good spot. Not much snow. Build a fire right there. Home sweet home.
Nighttime temperatures in Alaska plunge well below freezing, and without a full shelter, Marty will have little protection from the sub-zero wind chill.
I'm getting birch bark because it's a really good fire starter, better than paper, and it makes lighting a fire real easy. It just starts burning almost like it's dipped in gas.
Marty is too far from home to radio his family, so he has to trust that his fellow bush pilot ferried them home safely through the headwind.
Taj, he's got a Cessna 180. It's got a lot of power, and he's done a lot of work to it to make it a good bush plane. So I'm pretty confident that Dominique, Noah got home safely. Dominique will be a little concerned that I'm not back. She's going to be wondering where I'm at. I'll just spend the night here and wait for light in the morning, hoping the next day will be better.
Nightfall in Montana's Ruby Valley brings a particular danger at this time of year, and Rich is preparing for a long night's watch, protecting the newborn calves from predators who are keen hunters in the dark.
I got these fires going. You know, animals don't like fire, so that's my best alternative, to keep these fires going and keep walking around. And, you know, the wolves smell my scent, and the coyotes, they're gonna stay away from here. The worst thing that could happen tonight is if I lose something, you know. I don't want to lose any calves or a cow, but mainly these young calves is what the predators are after because they're so easy to get. Well, I gotta go put some more wood on those fires and kind of just walk through the cows, check them, make sure I ain't got anything gonna calve right now. Sniper, come here. Down, what was that? Down, down. Just heard something, I don't know what it was, Sniper. The bad thing is out there in the dark, you know, you just don't know what the predator is. I don't know if it was a coyote or a wolf, but you know, either way, it could get ugly. I better go take a look around. Come on, girls, settle down now. Easy, easy. Easy, girls. Easy now, settle down. It's all right. They're starting to get a little spooky on me. What's going on? It's so dark out here, I can barely see the cows. Yeah, something's going on, I don't know. I don't like it. I can't see everything that's going on. You know, these cows are in this little area here where it's pretty protected, but they still can slip out on me, and I won't know until morning for sure if everything's gonna be all right.
In Montana's Yak Valley, the bears are waking up early from hibernation and are on the prowl for any scrap of food they can find. Tom's standing guard to protect his stockpile of hides and furs for one last night before they go to market.
What's that dog barking at? What's she barking at?
I don't know.
Well, something's out here or something. Grab my rifle, bring it out. I'll get the flashlight.
All right.
Hurry. Well, there's something out there, I think, baby. Let's see that rifle. Yeah, let's walk out back here and check. Here on the pigeon house.
I don't see anything.
You got to be real careful about walking around out here in the dark. Animals see way better than we do. You have to have a rifle because it could be really dangerous. And normally, when you're shining the flashlight, the first thing that'll show up is the eyes. Right there is where that wolf was last year. I don't see nothing.
Should we go check by the house?
I guess we can.
Well, maybe it's long gone.
Hopefully. Hopefully it's long gone. Probably with us going out with the light, whatever it was has left, you know. Most all these animals are scared to death of people, you know. Most of them are.
Ellie will let us know if that thing is out there.
I think so. You all right?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
All the work I did this year is coming down to just one more night. So I just gotta get through one more night and try to fight this bear off. I'll be ready for it.
On the season finale of Mountain Men, the chase is on in the Cimarron.
There's the tracks. Out here in this country, finding one cow and calf is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Eustace's operation goes off the rails.
Preston! Preston!
We're out of sawmill until we get that fixed.
And Marty is dead in the water.
There's always a chance something can go wrong. Well, my skis are froze down.